Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an awesome life. It's a cozy day here in Georgia. So let's have a little coffee talk. Go get a frother, it's amazing. I used to put a little bit of cream in my almond milk, but with a frother you could go straight almond milk, gives it that richness. All right. First of all, today we're going to address a very important, let's just say, subject that I see people constantly up against this, and this is making decisions about their life situations. I want to help you today with that. And so I'm going to give you a few steps and some things to look at. We're going to address it. We're going to knock it out today. And I think by the time I get done on this video, you will be very clear about what you need to do. All right? I really mean that too. So the number one thing I see coming over in my internet marketing, in my spiritual teachings, everything. This isn't the case with my friends, by the way, because I hang out with friends that are very empowered. People do not believe that they hold the power within for anything. To create what they desire, to make wise decisions, to take actions. They don't believe that they are holding that answer or the ability to take the action or the ability to change any situation they're in. Yeah, they really don't believe it. Why? We've been programmed to believe that we are not powerful because those in power would have it that way. Take the pharmaceuticals. Oh, it's not. I saw an ad the other day. Oh, it was because I mute them while I work on my computer. I don't even look at them. But this one came on, and for a few seconds, I thought it was hysterical. Oh, are you taking drugs for depression? Depression. Let's take drugs. That's going to make it go away, right? 2 out of 3 people, or so, it was pretty high. 2 out of 3 people get no results from the medications they're taking for depression. They still have depression. And this woman sitting in front of the doctor, she goes, oh. And he goes, here's another drug that you can take that will help alleviate that. They didn't say stop taking the other drug. They said, let's add another one. It sounds insane, yet millions of people will watch that commercial and not find it crazy. They'll say, oh, I need to call up my son or my friend. Hey, did you know there's another drug out there you can take? You're still feeling depression. That's why. It's not you. The drug's not working properly. You need another one. We're believing that there's that power out there. And so they make all kinds of sales. The junk food places. Ooh, they show you all this stuff. It's power over you, and you are programmed, and you're believing it all. I want you to remember that, including going into a job you hate because you're supposed to be responsible, make money. You got a good job. You have a good job. You stay there. We put our own health and spiritual well-being on the back burner for the, let's just say, the structures out there, to please the structures and the old way of thinking that's killing us, that's kept us down, that's kept us in behind the veil and in the matrix. We put that aside. So I had a subscriber who wrote me and saying, I don't understand. You and other spiritual teachers say sit with it, be your best in your situation, master it and whatever. But I'm in a job and I hate it and I don't understand. You took action, Landria, with your spontaneous foot healing. I was assigned that I was going the wrong direction. I quit my job, quit my company. I owned the business, right? Single business owner. Shut down the company, did something completely different. Yay, foot pain, spontaneous healing. And then you moved homes when everything was going wrong in the house. I could have stayed there. It was amazing. I could have renovated the house, but I didn't. I decided, because I went inside and I asked for signs, that is amazing. See, that was not a negative situation. As amazing as that would have been, what I'd have to go through to renovate and get the house was not where I was supposed to be, and I knew that. I went inside and thought, you want that. For me, it was a desirable situation. But what's the cause and effect? Months of renovation, having to move out of the house, having to deal with contractors every day, not being here working with you, not expanding into the space I knew I was supposed to be in, and that's the spiritual mentoring. Finishing my second course called One Big Thing, that's going to be coming out in a couple of months. Not finishing the book, I wouldn't have been able to do all these things. So I made that decision, a wise one. I want you to know that every choice for you is not going to be some obvious thing. That's why I say go within. Because the world's going to tell you to stay in the crappy job. You know it's killing you. Your husband's telling you it's a great job. Be responsible, because you're bringing in a paycheck, obviously. He likes that, I'm sure. By the way, I'm not picking on him. I'm just saying, that's how he's thinking. That's how the world thinks. And so you say, okay, and it's going to kill you. Is that worth it? And you hate what you're doing. 85% of the population hates their job. That's a poll. That's scary. I have an ad out telling people that's how we're living, and we accept that. We have options and we're not taking them. Why? We live in fear. We're petrified to expand. The F word, right? We think it's going to be failure. Well, I went and got my interior design degree. That didn't work out. Why? Because the passion that I had for it now became a business, and I didn't like the business. It changed my passion for it because now I wasn't allowed to really decorate the way I wanted to. So I stopped doing it for a living. The second thing I tried, I bought a boatload of inventory. And I tried to sell online. Crickets, zero sales. Why? I didn't have the training to do that. So then I realized, wait a second, I need to learn how to create online businesses. That's real training, so I have to find a school. I saw an online ad, and I joined, and I got internet training, and now I know how to launch any online business, so I can take a passion and do that. There was no failure along the way. There was only expansion. So now I can take that inventory and go ahead and do it the right way. I didn't even know you didn't even have to buy inventory. I got taught all these things. I didn't even know how to work with Amazon. I didn't know any of that stuff. So there are no mistakes. You cannot make a mistake. But if you're not listening to your inner voice and acting on it. So this is what the subscriber said. I'm dealing with this. I'm going in. I'm being the best I can at work. And what? No. What's the next step? I always tell you. Take the action. What's your inner core saying? And it's in your comments. It's so blatant to anybody who reads it. Leave. It's killing you. You despise it. You're doing your best there. You're being the best person you can be. It's like being married to somebody who beats you. You're not there to be a psychiatrist for them. This is the experience. Are you going to forgive them and leave? Get out of it. Take the action. And I actually am one of the very few spiritual leaders that really focus on that. I shouldn't even say that. I don't listen to spiritual leaders out there. I come from my own heart. So when you guys hear me, I'm coming from my own heart. I would say that my message to take action is one of the biggest ones. The whole e-course that I have for you, if you guys want to take it, go in the description. I have a big discount code. Is Breakthrough Fear. So I'm asking you, my friend, who's at that job, telling yourself you're going to be the best you can. You're going to your inner self, trying to make a decision. You've already made a decision. You're just not acting on it. All right? You don't want to be there. It's killing you. You despise it. There's no passion there. What's stopping you from leaving? So ask yourself, that's your inner core is saying, oh, I need to be the best person and be tested. There's no test there. The test is, can you leave it? Or are you going to make excuses to stay in something that doesn't serve you or them? Because somebody coming in that doesn't love their job is putting out a negative energy. Can't help it, right? Hold on. So, empower yourself to make decisions. And those feelings, you guys are trying to find all these answers and stuff. You absolutely have them. Whatever you decide to change your situation can never be a mistake. It's impossible. There's no chaos in the universe. The fact that you took this step to make the change from something that is not working for you, and you know that you have not, if you have a pattern that, let's say you keep going from job to job to job to job, there's a pattern, then you have to look at yourself and ask if it's you. Are you the person at work that causes problems, or the job's never good enough for you? Then you're having to look at yourself and say, wow, I have something to master here, and it's not them, it's me. That's that inner thing, and being honest and not letting the ego say it's always them, it's always them. But if you're at a job and it's not working, you've been there a long time, and you're working on your spiritual, awakening, all this stuff. Dalai Lama, if there's negative energy in the room, walk away from it. It's that simple. So question, my friend, you hate your job. Why are you not leaving it? Because I have the feeling you have pressure out here that is going to disapprove. And your inner core is saying, I'm being the best I can be, but I can't be my best if I'm constantly choosing to stay in a situation that is not healthy. I must resonate on a higher frequency. In order to do that, I must seek the higher frequency. And if the job is not a higher frequency, then seek the higher frequency job. And it will find you. And if you have a 2 or 3 along the way, that's okay. Those are the stepping stones to the higher job. I wouldn't know that I didn't want to do interior design for a living if I hadn't tried it. No failure there, just expansion. I'm an action girl, you know this. So the question is, why aren't you leaving? And so what I hear you doing in the comments is using your teachers out there, including myself, to stay there by saying, what I really should do is stay and master this test to be my best here. That is not the message that I give. If you despise where you are, you have the power to change anything. No spiritual teacher is going to do that for you or tell you what to do. You already gave the answer. Why are you not breaking through your fear to go into something that you may actually love to do for a living? And then you'll flourish and you'll resonate with those people and what you do. There'll be challenges along the way. There always are. There are things that I have to do in my internet marketing that I don't love so much. But I learned to love them too. Because what I do for a living every day, I love, I'm passionate about. I get to do positive things and change people's lives. And that training is amazing. And the people that give us the training are amazing. And I've done it for 5 years, and I know how powerful it is. And I would have never known that this school could change my life so much. So things may not be obvious to you. I'm like, internet training, how could that do it, right? I knew it was powerful, but only if I went to it and used it. And how I used it. I didn't go there to get rich, quick scheme kind of thing. I went there to create serious businesses, expand on them, and do something amazing in the way that was going to give me freedom. I wanted to travel. I didn't want to stress out. And I wanted to choose what I did for a living and what I promoted or what I did, and look at what's happened. I'm sitting here with you because of that. I stepped into that unknown zone and started just trying things. How will you ever know if you do not step into that zone? So many of you are trapped because you feel powerless. And you absolutely have the power of the universe. Right now, you can make decisions. If you are holding back, it's because you're afraid of what's out there. Because you think that it could be worse than what you're in, and the answer is it cannot be. And I know somebody who left his job, a very high-paying job, left his place and pitched everything. Getting trained on the internet because he wants to be a coach, and he wants to help people to change those lives that were living in that matrix, and it's scary as hell for him. It's scary. But he knows that's where he needs to be, and he knows that there's no looking back. Going back to that would not make sense. So he's going to have to work through the scary part because he knows it's expansion. And I said to him, I said, you know, in a year, we're going to talk about this. When you went through this big change, huge change, but you knew it was right, and you kept on that path. And it takes strength to do that, but you have that. It's in you. I promise you, we are one energy. We are one energy. So what does that mean? One energy means that everything that's possible is in that energy, and that we are that energy. That means you have access, equal access to power, inventions, ideas, everything. Nobody owns anything. No one owns anything. You can access it. Do you know how many inventors, was the telephone, 3 of them at the exact same time that didn't know each other? Who got to it first? Alexander Graham Bell. He wasn't the first guy, but he took it and ran with it. Look what happened for him. But you can sit back there with all the other people accessing all that information and that power and do nothing with it. All of you say you have business ideas. Why are you not doing something about it? You don't need other people. You sorry, I'm using it a lot in 2019. You do need to look at yourself and say, what do I need to do to create this business? Not look to other people's power so we think we have to make a phone call and somebody else is going to make it happen for us. No, they won't. Only you can do that, and other people will assist you in that. But you have to be the driving force. A lot of people, they want, here's this, and they hand it over, and they do a crappy job, and they hand it over, and they expect some investment banker, somebody's going to make them a millionaire, whatever. I'm like, nope, those millionaires, they all were working their butts off 24/7. You guys know who Gary Vaynerchuk is? Probably. Internet marketer. Guy, I think he sleeps a couple hours a night. He's an insane worker. I mean, the man is, they did the day in the life a few years ago. I watched it. Oh my gosh, I think he's up at 5 in the morning, working out, then going to all of his companies, then doing this and doing that, better ways to do things. So if you want to sit there and let life pass you by and not access all that information or take the action on those ideas, on those feelings, on those thoughts, all the power is in you. Everything right now is being told to you. Unless you have a fear and so you're changing that story. It's not working, your feet hurt, you're going in the wrong direction, messages, and you're still saying, well, Landria said, and some other spiritual teacher said, I should sit with these feelings and this is my test to be. No. You're getting the messages and you know it, and you're just afraid to leave the job because you think something's going to fail. So then if you do leave and you give it the F word instead of expansion, you're going to be back on my channel with a comment saying, I left my job and I went to something that didn't work and it was horrible. And then you say, I should have stayed, and you're going to blame me and every other spiritual teacher that told you to take action to go toward. And that's a pattern. That's a pattern of not taking power and not taking responsibility. See, we don't want to take responsibility. If I say I am totally in control of my life and my future, I'm saying I'm responsible. And nobody wants that. That's why we go to fortune tellers. Tell me what my future is going to be. If I were a fortune teller, I'd say, I don't know. What's it going to be? Tell me. Because you're the one doing it. Let's tell your fortune today. What's your fortune? You can do it. Write it down. What is your future? So what we don't want is the expansion to that final goal that we want, which will continually expand beyond that. We do not want this along the way. Oh my gosh. Oh, I had to learn something new. I didn't know I was going to have to learn all these things, or I didn't know that I was going to have to go through this time period where, I'm just feeling lost or whatever. And then there's others that say, okay, I am experiencing this. I didn't expect this. Change is, none of us escape the feelings that change brings. None of us escape that, and it will absolutely rock your world. And that's your programming having to shift into a new, and you're going to want to run back to, it's like, oh, I knew that. I knew that. I knew what to do with that. You guys, have you seen me videos where I told you about my mom? Grew up in a very dysfunctional family. Well, my dad was just the sweetest guy in the world, and she is an amazing person. And so my brother and I grew up in a very stable, loving home. But my mother would pick fights with my dad privately. She finally goes to see a psychiatrist. I had no clue that was going on. So she told me later on, she said, I'm actually going to see a counselor. She said that the counselor said, she's creating problems because she's so programmed and she knows what to do in a household that's dysfunctional, that she didn't know what to do in a house where people love each other, that there's nothing to argue about, and that is healthy. So she would create chaos because that's what she knew growing up. So now she could recognize it, like she'd get uncomfortable. Why? Because this is boring, right? Everything's going great. Let's create chaos. I know what to do with that. So she'd create some stupid fight. So then she caught herself. Okay, I'm doing it. I'm doing it again. There we go. It's kicking in. And so my father was then a part of helping her to move past that and understand why she was doing it. So why are you doing certain things? Understand, that's why I have an e-course. I actually help you get to the root of that, why you're doing it. Because if you understand why you're doing it, the feelings will still be there, but you'll know how to handle them. You'll deal with them. Because you don't want to stay there. You don't want to stay in the rotten job, the abusive marriage, the negative relationships that you keep getting into, or the job hopping. You don't want to stay there. This is all in your control. What do you want to do to change that? Because it's all in your power. You have that power. You have access to everything. So so my friend, go inside. You don't even have to do that. You already know. The energy is so stifling negative. So if your husband disapproves, you go to him and you say, honey, I have to tell you something. I have a prognosis of an early death. I'm going to have a heart attack. He's going to go, what? Say, yeah, if I don't leave this job, that's what's going to happen. I'm going to be very ill, or I'll have cancer or something else, because I'm internalizing all of this agony and anger and frustration, or whatever it is, even if you've mastered that. And if I don't leave, I'm going to die. Or be very sick for a long time, and then I won't be able to work at all anyways. Because that's why people get sick at jobs, right? They don't want to go into them. So they subconsciously sabotage their health so they don't have to go in. All right, so another long video, but I really wanted to address this because you absolutely have to sit down and I know it's tough because it feels very lonely when you sit in that chair and you think, I can't write Landria and get that answer because she's going to tell me I have it. I can't blame anybody else for where I am right now because I can change it. I can keep going to other people and trying to get answers, but the truth is there's only one person that can sit here and know what's going on inside of me. and knows what messages I, the only one on the entire planet that is you, that is unique to you, is getting special messages just for you. No one else can know what that is. Sit with it and know, I do not want to go into this job. It's not right for me. It's not fulfilling my desires. And even if you don't know what that job is, somebody said, how do you know? You don't have to know what it is. Just know how you want to feel. You want to feel passionate. You want to be introduced to new things. You know, what is it you want? You want to be happy. You want freedom. You don't want to worry about money. You want to be healthy. You want to have time to do the things you want. Know these things. Put that out to the universe, and then can't get it unless you take the action. There's no such thing as failure, only expansion. Be okay with that. You do those two things, and you'll be rocking it. Rocking it. Because stuff is going to start to happen, come to you, and you're going to break past your fear, and you start taking the action, and guess what? The universe keeps adjusting as you decide what's working, what you like, what you don't like, and you're doing it. And then it starts to switch realities. It's constantly switching over every time you make a decision. If you stay here, it's going to stay right on that trajectory. And the end of that is death. Unhappy death. You are whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.